Hi, good morning. I'm sorry we are not on video today. We are just doing the audio of reading the story. We're on page 73. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get my mascara on and my hair looking fabulous, so I can't do a video if I don't look fabulous. Okay. We're on page 73, and the Israelites were still in the wilderness. I think we're going to be in the wilderness for a while. They had been complaining about not having the food they wanted, especially not meat. And then the Lord said that he would send them meat. And Moses said, well, there's so many people. How are you going to do all that? And the Lord says, I will do it. And you will see that the Lord's arm is not too short. Okay, so that's where we're going to pick up.
He also said that they were going to eat it for months until they're so full.
That it came out of their noses, and you loathe it, is what he said. Yeah, I think he's putting his metaphorical finger on the fact that they're not being thankful for what they do have. Now a wind went out from the Lord and drove quail in from the sea. It scattered them up to 2 cubits deep all around the camp, as far as a day's walk in any direction. So there was quail just everywhere. It was piled high and as far as you could see. All that day and night and all the next day, the people went out and gathered quail. No one gathered less than 10 homers. I don't know what that means. Then they spread them out all around the camp. But while the meat was still between their teeth and before it could be consumed, the anger of the Lord burned against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. Therefore the place was named Kibroth Hattaavah. I don't know. Because they buried the people who had craved other food. Though God had dealt harshly with the people's lack of faith, soon there was more trouble in the ranks. This time from Moses' own sister and brother. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses, they asked. Hasn't he also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this. That's a little funny.
He was like,
because it says, and the Lord heard this, because the Lord hears all of your, they don't have to say it out loud for the Lord to hear it. The Lord hears the thoughts of the man and of the woman. Now, Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. I don't know. I had not read that before, because though he was humble, he also had a problem controlling his anger when he had a feeling of anger. Oh, I forgot to read that Kibroth Hattaavah means graves of craving, meaning they died because it's the graves of craving where they stopped just demanding this other type of food, the fleshly, like, I have to have this type of food. No, that other type of food is not sufficient.
So you mean that the ones who had craved all that other food before they could even eat the meat, the Lord killed them?
It said they buried the people there who had craved other food, meaning the quail or the meat. And I don't know exactly because it really doesn't describe it much. But apparently some people were killed by the plague who had been saying, we want meat. This other food isn't good enough. But I don't know exactly the details because it doesn't say that here. Okay, so now we're back to Miriam and Aaron grumbling, and the Lord hears them. And at once the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, come out to the tent of meeting, all 3 of you. So the 3 of them went out. Then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud. He stood at the entrance to the tent and summoned Aaron and Miriam. When the 2 of them stepped forward, he said, listen to my words. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? This right here And David knew this fear also. He said, lest I sin against the Lord's chosen, or lest I put my hand against the Lord's chosen. You have to be very careful about speaking against the Lord's chosen servants. You don't want to criticize the work that they're doing if they're doing it unto the Lord. That doesn't mean that you can't say, I'm not sure if that exactly aligns with what the Lord says. But you want to be careful in how you speak. Because Miriam and Aaron felt very comfortable complaining against Moses. And they shouldn't have felt that way. They should have honored Moses. But why do you think it was hard for them to honor Moses?
Because they wanted the sort of stuff that he was getting.
No, because he's their brother. And sometimes it's hard for us to honor, like with Jesus's brothers. A lot of them didn't honor him until after he had been resurrected, and they realized, oh, you are the Messiah.
Yeah.
Because when somebody is close to you, you're so familiar with them, it can be very hard to honor them. It's different when you're not close to someone because there's like a distance there that I'm not sure. I guess the familiarity with someone sometimes can make it hard to honor them.
Because you're so familiar.
Mm-hmm. The honor kind of goes, which is what I hope for in our house, is to have a culture of honor, regardless of whether or not we're familiar with each other. All right, the anger of the Lord burned against Miriam and Aaron, and he left them. When the cloud... It's too loud, Caleb. Please leave the magnets alone. When the cloud lifted from above the tent, Miriam's skin was leprous. It became white as snow. Aaron turned toward her and saw that she had a defiling skin disease, and he said to Moses, this is Aaron talking to Moses. He said, before he didn't want to honor Moses. Now listen to what he says. Please, my Lord. Suddenly, we've got all the titles. Please, O most gracious one of the highest Lord of all. He says, I ask you not to hold against us the sin we have so foolishly committed. Now he's saying that it's not Moses. He said, do not let her be like a stillborn infant coming from its mother's womb. So Moses cried out to the Lord, please, God, heal her. And the Lord replied to Moses, if her father... Okay, that's a little bit... If her father had been disrespectful, would she not have been a disgrace for 7 days? Meaning, okay. He said, so the Lord says, confine her outside the camp for 7 days, and after that she can be brought back. So he's saying, I'm gonna heal her. Caleb, please stop. Caleb, please stop. He said, I'm going to heal her, but he's still disciplining her. She must be outside the camp for 7 days. So Miriam was confined outside the camp, and the people did not move on until she was brought back. So they all waited for her. That's kind of embarrassing. We all have to wait here while Miriam's being disciplined. After Miriam is disciplined, then we can move on to our next location. But I wonder, why isn't Aaron disciplined? After that, the people left Hazeroth and encamped in the desert of Paran. And the Lord said to Moses, send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each ancestral tribe, send one of its leaders. Okay. We're going to stop there because this is where we're kind of taking a turn to a different part of the story. But I do wonder, I think I'd like to go back and open the Bible and see, like, why wasn't Aaron disciplined? You know?
Yeah. I think that was his discipline. Having his own sister with a disease.
I don't know.
And being left in camp to feel the shame. I was like, we're waiting for your sister.
I'd have to read more into it before I could speak on it. Okay, because not all of the details of the story are in this part, are in this book, the story. Okay, we're on page 75. Bye.